Is it okay to run dynamic plus lowering springs on stock struts and springs without worrying about wear? Is there any issues if I do not trim the bump stops of the lowering springs? So all of our dynamic plus lowering springs are designed and engineered and developed for use with factory struts and shocks. If there was a need to trim a bump stop or something like that, we would list that. Currently, based on the relatively sane and functional lowering rates that we use, we don't have any need for you to trim bump stops on any of our springs at this time.
I think we do.
No, for B984, which this guy is, there's one model we do.
Yeah.
But
It says in the instructions.
wherever we require it,
Yeah.
we state it.
Yeah. Apparently, there might be one that I don't know about from like 8 years ago, but it would say in the instructions. But no, please do not go cutting your bump stops.
If it is in the instructions, though, yeah, I mean, there's a reason for that, and it is operating at a lower, operational range. So you'll be, the consequence to not doing that is you're going to be hitting the bump stop more than
You would essentially be the car would feel like it was bottoming out.
Yep.
The strut wouldn't actually be bottoming out, but and then if you have a really a car that's either old or has a lot of miles on it, it could be possible that you need new struts or shocks. I would say in my experience, it's very rare. We almost never replace those.
We're lucky in California, at least. We don't have the harsh conditions. So, I mean, I think all of our vehicles are still on the OEM struts.
But I remember in like the 80s and 90s, cars, you'd have to replace the shocks and struts every like couple years.
Yep.
They would just wear out. You'd go to, the Wheeler tire shop and you get some KYB, gas struts or something. And it was like, I remember when I was a kid, we had a Chrysler minivan, and that thing needed new shocks every couple of years.
Yep.
And I would remember my dad would take it in, and then you could just feel the car like it felt like a new car again. But no, these new Audis, they come with extremely expensive, high quality shocks and struts. Many of them have magnetic ride dampening or the other version with the valving changes inside. So we definitely recommend good OEM shocks. If the car feels bouncy or something like that, then it could be that you do need to change them. And then in some cases you could go with like a Bilstein option or an aftermarket option. We just don't test those.
Yeah,
So we can't speak to how
endless testing. Yeah.